All right, I've got my work cut out for me today. We had a frost, and so that is prompting a lot of change in the garden. And I also had COVID, so I've been stuck inside feeling pretty bad for a couple days, so I've got some catching up to do. So I'm going to go through and talk about what I'm going to do, and then I'll show the after. I am going ahead and take this loofah out. It's beyond time for it to come out. These things are not going to dry outside, so I will take them inside and I'll finish drying them in the oven. I'm going to try to uncover the thyme down here and see if I can get that to bounce back a little bit. I am so surprised, but these sunflowers went through the frost just fine. So I'm going to leave these here and see what they do. I cut back the basil, but I'm going to go ahead and just take this out. I'll replant basil next summer. There's really no reason to try to overwinter this stump. I will also take out these green beans. So these guys are well and truly done. The zinnias need to come out as well. But of course the broccoli can stay. So the broccoli is quite happy. It's not making any heads yet, but it went through the frost just fine, so I'm going to leave it. I may even do some succession planting. The tomatoes, I came out here in the middle of the night when it was freezing, and I got as many of the cherry tomatoes off of here as possible. There's still some on here that you can see, so I think I'll go through and take off any green tomatoes that I find, and then just go ahead and take these plants out. And the marigolds as well. So that on both sides. Yeah, I see some tomatoes in there. So I'll harvest what I can and then get these out. So that'll clear up some space. Oh goodness, look at that. Yeah, there's plenty of green fruit in here that I can get. But even though this looks okay, like I could trim it and it would still be healthy, it's not going to put on fruit, and it's certainly not going to ripen for the rest of the season. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this out. The onions I'm going to overwinter, of course, and leave those in here. And same with radish. And let's see, the peas are just fine. So these I will overwinter. So these guys are going to keep growing. So they're doing fine. I'm going to cut this bee balm back pretty significantly and tame this beast a little bit. I did come in here after the frost and I trimmed back the zinnias, and you can see there are some buds on here, so it may bounce back. It's a pretty mature plant, so I think I'll just see what it does. Of course, cilantro, got parsley over there is fine, the beets are fine, the carrots are fine, the kale is fine, the pak choi is fine. This whole bed doesn't need to have much removed aside from the bee balm, but I am going to get some plant supports and prop up the carrot, because right now the carrot's flopping over onto the kale and keeping it from getting sun. So I'll fix that. And then over here the greens bed is just fine, so all of this is frost hardy as well. I did figure this out. This is garlic chive, and you can tell because it's got the flat leaf instead of the circular leaf, and it does not taste good. So don't accidentally get garlic chives like I did, because it tastes like grass. I am going to leave it in here just to see if it maybe makes a flower and becomes pretty, but I am not eating that anymore. That is yuck. Yeah, so the sage, the thyme over here, and then I'll take this leaf out. The herbs I will leave because they're doing just fine. So I'm going to see if they'll overwinter, and then try to get some more leafy stuff going in here. So that is the plan, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay, here's our after. So this is all the loofah that I got off the two sides. I think total it was 3 plants. So I've already harvested, I don't know, probably 15 or so, and I've got another, 20. So yeah, I got to figure out a way to dry these and then process them, and then I should have shower scrubbies for like 2 years. we'll see. I did find some more cherry tomatoes before I took the plants out, or as I took the plants out, rather. And this is in addition to maybe the 100 that I got off of them the night of the freeze. So I've got quite a few green tomatoes that I'll probably put in a paper bag and see if I can get them to ripen. I am going to show all the beds cleaned up. I ended up with 2 full yard bags of debris, which really surprised me. I didn't think I had quite that much to pull out. But as you can see, the loofah is gone, and I trimmed up some of the dead thyme, and I'll try to get this to grow back. Same with the sage. I trimmed it away from the arugula so that the ones that were getting squashed have a bit of a chance to come back. And then the rest of this is really unchanged. I still got quite a bit of space over here. Over here with the carrots and the beets, so didn't mess with them too much other than I put in some plant supports to keep the carrot tops from flopping all over the kale and the pak choi. So now these are braced and up and away so they won't get in the way. I did trim out the lemon bee balm. You can see it was killing the grass below it. So we'll see what this does over the winter. Of course, cilantro and parsley over here is just fine. I am going to leave the zinnia, although you can clearly see that it's got leaf burn, but it's got buds and it has blooms. So until this thing completely croaks, I'm just going to let it do its thing. I didn't trim out any of the dead stuff around the peas. I'm just going to maybe pluck at those as I harvest peas, but those are looking pretty good. That's cleaned up. I did clean up some of the dill, again, to get it off of some of these young onions so that they've got some space to grow. Left the onions alone. They're flopping quite a bit, but I think that's okay. And then you can see here where I took out the tomato plant. These are truly squashed. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of time to recover. You can even see that they've been like pushed over, so they may grow funny. But I'm going to see if they straighten up on their own. Tomato and marigold is out, so all of that's gone. And then radish has got a little bit more breathing room, as do the onions, of course. And I've got some herbs over here, and the peas are looking pretty good, so I'll just leave them be. And then over here, took out the tomatoes and the marigolds on this side. Of course, I've got these garlic chives that don't taste very good, but I left them just to see if they would flower. And once I took out all the green beans, I found that I had seeded some Rocky Top lettuce. So yay me. So we'll see what those do. So snapdragons, dianthus, and then some pansies over there. So I think I might put these in. But I didn't film after they were put in because I wanted to show this little den, hidey hole that somebody has made. I don't know if this is mice or a snake or what, but I'm going to top dress this whole thing with compost and fill that in. And just pretend like I didn't see that. Hopefully it's something cute and not something awful. But yeah, so big day, big changes. I'll probably maybe put some more of the cold hardy stuff in later, but I will film that a different time.